Good day, scintillating subscribers! I'm Unsilent and we're on the air with a vlog! Why would I possibly engage in this self-indulgence? Well, that's because the channel recently hit 100 subscribers! So thanks to each and every one of you who subscribed or tuned in or liked or shared or, all the above. I was fairly certain I was never going to hit 100 since 2017 ended at only 36 subscribers. It took like 16 months to get to that point, and we've damn near tripled in the next 8 months. Sometimes it's just a little luck and a little love is what you need to get forward. I came into this thinking it would probably be an absolute gong show of the highest order doing this YouTube thing. Partly my average-ish video gaming skills combined with, bouts of technological literacy and the fact there are myriad all-time classic games I haven't played. So I was just expecting to, give up overnight sort of thing. Sure, the slow growth nearly got me there, but the friendly comments and subscribers, you guys really make the whole thing worth it in the end. And every one of you who pops in the comments with tips and tricks and trivia stories, games or mod suggestions, everything else in between, it all makes the whole thing worth it. But anyway, without getting too mushy, 100 subs gets you a custom URL, so now you can reach the channel directly at youtube.com/unsilentonair, which is that's one of the reasons I want to hit 100 and get so excited, because now it's like you got the actual thing. It's youtube.com/unsilentonair. So, that's a little thing that gets me geeked out and excited like that, as you might be able to tell. It also kind of fits with all the social media branding-ish things. It's like the Twitter and the Facebook and Instagram and the Tumblr that I mention at the end of every video. Those are all Unsilent on Air. And I recently started the Unsilent on Air Steam group and the Unsilent on Air Discord. I'm not sure what makes Steam groups or Discords tick, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. So join it up and I will make it work somehow. Links in the description down below to all the social media stuff. But I don't want to make this whole thing self-promotion. It's a vlog/channel update. So I thought I'd give you an update on some of my plans for the channel over the next little bit, the next year or so. First, let's start with the semi-regular series that I want to do and am working on. Haven't really had the time or made the effort to set the time aside to work on these. And we're going to start with talking about Retro Versus. I've talked about this on a few videos in the past, and I've received some suggestions for it as well. Now, Retro Versus is going to be a comparative review series in which I compare a retro game to a modern game in the same series or genre. So, one of the things I'm planning is Doom 1993 versus Doom 2016. What about Battlefield 1942, the first game in the Battlefield series? We could compare that to the upcoming Battlefield 5, not just because it's the latest game in the Battlefield series, but because they're both World War II shooters. I'm hoping to do one of those intermixed with a couple other series I'm going to talk about very quickly. Not exactly going to be the, quickest series to do, so I'm not committing to pumping one out every month yet, because, you've got to play through 2 games, capture footage, write a review, and compress it down to 15, maybe 20 minutes at the most of Retro Versus. One of the other series I wanted to do was Retrospective, similar in sort of time commitment, but I'm thinking, since I do Let's Plays and I talk about all these old games that I played and I loved, I don't want to, interrupt a blind Let's Play channel to do, a Let's Play of a game. I've already played it, I've already 100%ed it sort of thing. But I can go back and do reviews of games that I think are great and do sort of a retrospective review. So it would be a retrospective, I'm hitting that too hard, retrospective on old games. So I've talked about games like Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, Ape Escape is 2 of my favorite games of all time. Never really gone in depth about it. We've got the new Spyro the Dragon games coming up, but I've 100%ed the PS1 trilogy. I love those games, but I've never really talked about it. Give me a chance to talk about some of these games that I played back in the day and I really love, and it really kind of speaks to me as a gamer. So I want to talk about the game and how it's held up and my memories and the legacy of these games. And it's one of those things I think would, kind of fit well on the channel as a retro channel. And the last one, and this is more of a definitely maybe, but it's also going to be the easiest of the bunch to do, is something I've called Demonstration Derby. Now, can you guess what that's a play on words of? Anyway, bad puns aside, one thing I realized during my search for the PS1 demo of Revolt was that PlayStation demo discs are very poorly cataloged. I don't want to be a video game archivist, but I did do that with maps for a summer job once, so I at least have some applicable job experience. True story, I cataloged maps and came up with an indexing system for maps for geology office for the government. Anyway, Demonstration Derby would be a journey through various demo discs with a rundown of contents, highlights, making a video sort of thing. I'd imagine the videos would probably run like half an hour-ish in length, cut down from, however long it takes me to go through most or all of the disc. And the last one that I want to do, and I want to do this more monthly, and it doesn't have a snazzy title yet, but it would be something called Unsilent's Monthly Life. I want to call it Unsilent's Modern Life. I'm not sure Nickelodeon would see the humor in it, but yeah, maybe I could get away with it. I don't know. I haven't settled on a name yet. If you guys got a suggestion, throw it in the comments. But what it would be is it would be a look at like what I'm watching on TV or movies or reading in books or playing in video games, modern stuff. Things I kind of briefly mention in LPs, but again, never really talk about in depth. And I pair that with channel updates about what's ongoing on the channel, what's upcoming on the channel in terms of Let's Plays, one-shots, stuff like that. So it would serve two purposes: channel update and sort of modern reviews to complement all the retro stuff. And as I was bullet pointing out this vlog update thing, I kind of realized I've got a kind of an idea for doing like a 3-month rotation there. So like maybe Unsilenced Modern Life every month and then rotate through Retro versus Retrospective Demonstration Derby as an idea. Maybe do that through the pilots or like 2 of each and then kind of play it by ear at that point and, tweak based on feedback and give it another go from there, figure it out, see what works, see what doesn't, that sort of thing. Just something, I'm just throwing those out there. Maybe some of that intrigues you, maybe none of it does, but, I'm always trying new things, so I want to try that and see what happens. And before we go, it wouldn't be a channel update without actually talking about what's actually coming up on the channel. So it's all dependent on OBS and Windows working well enough to play and or record videos of these games, so everything has a tiny asterisk next to it based on technology. I think you guys are used to that drill by now. So in the coming soon, and I do mean coming soon categories, Half-Life Opposing Force, I may already be out by the time I have posted this little vlog. So you guys have been looking forward to the Half-Life 1 expansions, and by the end of next year, I'm going to get Half-Life 2 proper, and I'm not getting there without getting the 2 expansions for Half-Life 1 done first. Step 1 is Opposing Force. After that, October is going to be a little more horror-ish, so I'm thinking for an adventure game, I've got my eyes on Maniac Mansion. We're not a LucasArts channel, but sometimes you'd think it is between all the Star Wars games and LucasArts adventure games that are featured on here regularly. And once that LucasArts game is done, then we're going to jump on to Star Wars Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. And I said last year that I was going to play Jedi Knight. It's the last game of the Dark Forces franchise that I played. I played Dark Forces 1 last year. I played Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy many, many years ago. But, maybe I could go play Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy for retrospective at some point. Maybe, there's the movie battle mods for Jedi Academy that came out after I stopped playing it. And I like to think I was an okay hand playing Jedi Academy multiplayer. So maybe I could do that as a one-shot, just separate of any other series. As for Wide Open Wednesday, right now I'm working through sort of one-shots of old racing games, some old classic racing games on the channel right now. But after that, I'm thinking of keeping a kind of horror-ish theme as we lead into October. I'm thinking Carmageddon. It's something kind of slasher flick more than a horror movie, but it's kind of appropriately themed for October. And then I want to follow that with a classic Need for Speed game. I'm thinking one of the Underground games, maybe Most Wanted. It's because they're cited as the games that are the best in the franchise. Although, I understand there's a fondness for the original Hot Pursuit and High Stakes. Don't suggest Hot Pursuit 2 because I played that one on the PS2. More than anything, I love the soundtrack of that game. Early to mid-2000s EA tracks set the bar for licensed soundtracks. Yes, I will accept an argument for GTA Vice City because I'm a huge New Wave fan. So, 80s music I love. But anyway, And on to coming eventually, which means those games that I want to play, but might not be for several months, like 2019, maybe 2020, depending how long y'all are stuck with me. Definitely in the coming eventually, it's Curse of Monkey Island, third game in the franchise. Nice to get a little tropical getaway in the middle of shitty Northern Ontario winter, so, like doing it in the winter works well for me. What else is in the coming? Eventually, I'd like to play some other franchises' top games. So you've got like Call of Duty 4 and Resident Evil 4 that are sort of on the want to play list coming soon. In terms of not shooters or adventure games, I'm thinking I've got the Disney Afternoon Collection on the Steam library amongst the myriad unplayed games there. And I was thinking something like, Chippendale Rescue Rangers. I didn't even know that game existed until the Disney Afternoon Collection came out, and I was a huge Chippendale Rescue Rangers fan back in the day, so I want to play that. Mirror's Edge is sort of on the list of things that I want to play, and now it'll fall on the happy side of my 10-year rule for what I consider retro enough to play. And if I'm thinking of platformers, I do play a lot of id games. Maybe Commander Keen could make an appearance on here. The one I'm struggling with most with for coming eventually is the long game for 2019. It doesn't necessarily have to be an RPG just because I've done 2 RPGs. But, it's got to be, like, in the 20-ish hour range. I'm kind of bouncing in my head between, like, StarCraft, Bully, Dungeon Keeper. I'm leaning StarCraft because I'm a huge StarCraft fan. And you'll probably catch me some weekends watching StarCraft in the background somewhere. But I'm the definition of a Bronze League hero. I'm too old and too much of a rookie to make a charge for Grandmaster, I guess S-Class and StarCraft Remastered. So don't expect much multiplayer unless I'm going to be casting it. I'll gladly admit to wanting to host a small amateur tournament, or tournaments that I'd broadcast here on the channel. Maybe not live, thanks to terrible Canadian internet monopolies that even fund a small prize pool. But that's like a down the road type thing. I'd love to give a shot at casting StarCraft. I mean, I've done basketball and hockey and football broadcasting in university, so StarCraft, how hard can it be? Very. The answer is very. But anyway, enough rambling from me. A little feedback on anything and everything is always welcome. What else is always welcome is hitting that like button, YouTube's mythical algorithm. Likes when people hit that like button or leave comments or share on social media. Engagement, they call it, right? Engagement. And that helps to prop the channel up. So sharing with friends or in game communities is a good way to draw eyeballs and help support the channel. So those would be a big help. Speaking of social media, I did mention it off the top, but social media handle is Unsilent on Air for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and hey now YouTube! Don't forget there's the new Unsilent on Air Steam group and Discord channels. Links to everything are in the description down below and on the channel page. And until the next time, I'm Unsilent. As always, thanks very much for joining me. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time.